Child, y'all saying I had someone speak and say he should be seeing my heart and my spirit. I did a video a few days ago. I think it was Tuesday. It's called. The video is about me. What is it called again? What men really mean when they say they like natural. And I was really, it wasn't for a lot of, it wasn't really for me. I wanted the men to chime in, which they have been chiming in, but it was based on, they always say we want natural, and some women are like, well, she got on the weed, but you attracted to her. So I wanted to kind of expound on what I understood, because I've spoken to some men as well. What I understood is what they actually mean when it says natural. It wasn't an attack on the women. It wasn't a platform for women to go on there and project their negativity. It wasn't for you to feel like you was attacked. It was just simply what a man is saying when he thinks that a woman, that what he means and what he thinks is natural. And it actually complimented the women, because there were men who came in and commented, and they talked about the fact that what they thought was beautiful, what they thought was natural, and it was like just a woman smelling good. But you guys, a lot of you came on there with the whatever you're going through, he'd cheat on you, and this. I'm like, we are toxic. Hit dogs holler. So, but there was one young lady I did address, I did put it in there, but I saw other women like what she said, and I was like, we are so wrong when it comes to that. And the video wasn't about your dating, finding a man and different things like that. It was literally about their opinion of what they considered natural. But we talked about, then others brought in relationships, and I was like, that's cool, It was beautiful, but it got a little delusional, and I did a video on a delusional woman. And I wanted to point out something, because a lot of us think like that. I thought like that. I thought that when a guy saw me, he looked at me and was like, "Dog, she seems like a pretty smart girl, or she carries herself well." And I thought he was looking at me, "Oh, she seems like marriage material, right?" But that's not real. That's not what they're looking at. And a young lady made a comment about, he need to love he need to see my spirit. Well, let me go ahead and correct it. I should not be talking about, she said that I was dealing with somebody that rejected me. And my I don't know, like my beauty or whatever. And that I should be teaching or talking about, talking about how a man should love your spirit and your heart and not your flesh. But she said, but I'm teaching them to look at your flesh. Well, ma'am, I had brought out, and I wanted to read this scripture to you, because men, since the beginning of time, has always looked upon you first by your beauty. That's why a lot of my videos talk about, and it's not geared just for you to get a man, just for you to have self-love for yourself. And even that video I just did about what men think is natural, I said, you first have to be happy with what you are and love yourself, right? So if I always stress that if you paid attention to my videos and my channel, that is what is geared towards building women up. But we have to be able to identify when we're wrong. We have to be able to hold ourselves accountable when we're wrong. You know what I mean? And also, there is nothing wrong with our men being able to talk about some of the things that they feel. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not an attack on you when someone has an opinion. It's not an attack on you. I brought up April Mason, and someone was like, well, I forgot what it's saying, something about the relationship or whatnot. I'm trying to remember that part. And she was like, she was talking about April Mason's platform. She should have brought some women on there so they can give their opinion. Well, we give a lot of opinion. We always have an opinion. And the purpose of her platform was to give men a chance to be able to feel safe and to be able to speak about some of the issues they may have within themselves and relationships and whatever. And the reason why she created that platform, because someone very near and dear to her that close was a young man, took his, he left the earth. And then someone else close to her that was a young man attempted to take his life. So that was the reason for her creating that. It's not always just about women and you need to have a voice. We have a lot of voices. We have a lot of platforms. So I just wanted to address that. Now, well, ladies, men have always been visual. So I don't know. Let me help you out as far as the delusion. And I have brought up the fact that, and I'm going to read this to you real quick. I have brought up the fact that even in the scriptures, when you look at the kings and when you look at the kings and the men of God, they looked at your beauty. So for you to say that, oh, you know, he need to look at my spirit. He doesn't even know. He first has to be attracted to you in order to get to that place to say, hey, I would like to get to know more about her. But make no mistake, when a man is attracted to you, he is thinking about you in a sexual way most of the time. Now, there's some men that may, you know, very few that may say, hey, I like to get to know her. But there is something about you that made that man say, I want to get to know her. Oh, I love the way she walks. She has beautiful legs. She has a great backside. I like her chest. I love her face. She is gorgeous. She has a walk. It is something that is attracting a man to you. He's not looking at us saying, oh my gosh, look at her spirit. Now, I have had where someone has told me, or a few of them have said, it's your spirit. It's not my spirit. They say it's an aura. So maybe that could be the spirit. Or they say you command the room, or you walk in with confidence. They pay attention to that. But they're also telling me about the physical attributes that they admire. And that's the same for many women. Why do you think that we do all of the things that we do to beautify ourselves? We should be doing it just for ourselves. But we know at the end of the day, if we're single and you want a relationship, or you're looking for something more, you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to make sure you look the best part. So for you young ladies that were signing off on, he need to look at your spirit, that's not what they did. And so I wanted to read to you really quick, the book of Esther, chapter 1, two verses. Wait, is it two? 3 verses, real quick. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry, all right, and the king had this feast that he had annually, right? The heart of the king was merry with wine. He commanded, oh gosh, I got to say these names, Mekuman. I'm going to skip the names, y'all, but he commanded Biztha, all these people, and Carceus, the 7 chamberlains. So I'll just say that. He commanded the 7 chamberlains. You can go and read for yourself because I can't pronounce all those names. That served in the presence of Asuerus, the king. That was King Asuerus, right? Okay, verse 11. To bring Vashti, the queen, before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the men, her beauty, for she was fair to look on. He didn't call her out there because he wanted to see her spirit. Fair means beauty. She was fair to look at. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. And you can read the whole story of it. This is the book of Esther. They normally do this around Easter time or whatnot. But I wanted to bring that out to you. And even early on, when you look at the men that he had there, Vashti was his wife, his queen, and she was in another room servicing and taking care of these women of prestige. And he was in his throne, and where he was were noble men, were men of honor, were high valued men. And he wanted to show off his wife. So I'm bringing this out to you guys because please, let's be realistic. you're projecting. What you were projecting is something that you may need to work on with yourself. When I put out these videos, and like I said, the content that I put out is to help uplift us, but we can't be uplifted until we deal with the issues, the source of the problem, and we look into ourselves and figure out what's going on. That video was geared towards just men talking about what they actually thought was natural. But we don't think that way of what is natural, right? We think no hair, no makeup is natural, but everybody has a different opinion about it. But to come on to the platform and make the comment and say that, hey, he needs to see my spirit. He's not looking at your spirit, and he can't see your heart. That comes with wisdom. When he comes, now he sees what he likes. He's attracted to you because of how you carried yourself, right? He then comes over and he wants to see what comes out of your mouth. Based on what comes out of your mouth, which should be wisdom, but based what comes out of your mouth determines where he's going to put you at. Now, again, this message was not geared towards how to get a man. But since you made that, you came in and that was the comment that you wanted to make and the women signed off on it, I just wanted to say that, no, they're not looking at your spirit and they're not looking at your heart. That comes once you have established some type of rapport with that person, you start dating, and then they can see those things. But the first thing, the first impression is what a man is looking at. To be honest, the first impression, that's why we talk about the bonnet mafia, you women who love to come out in their bonnets. That's your impression of the person that sees you. And a lot of you are like, oh, I don't care what people think. We know you don't care. And it is obvious. And it says so much about you that what you think to say that you love yourself and all these different things, it says something different, right? So again, yes, a man is visual. He wants to be attracted to what it is. And a lot of times women may not be what we in society say, oh, she's gorgeous. But once the man, but it's something, I don't care what it is. You may think that she's ugly or he's ugly or whatever, but it's something about that person that someone finds attractive and they want to get to know that person. And then when they find out they have a great personality, they have a great heart, they care about people, they're nurturing, these different things like that. That is when it becomes into more. But the first impression, darling, he's visual. All right. I pray that this video helps you and blesses you. And I will see you guys next video. Bye.